What up? What up? What up? Welcome back to the Scorecard Boxing Podcast. Myself, Cedric Benn, and my boy Randy Elliott. What up, Els? How you feeling today?
What up? Feeling good, feeling good.
Good, good, good. Some good fights on this weekend, boxing and MMA. Of course, we're going to focus on the boxing and the scorecard. So the main event for last night was Mr. Roman Chocolatito Gonzalez versus Julio Cesar Martinez. And this was the battle of the little guys. I should know these by now. I know the pounds, but I don't know the name of the weight class. You guys were at 118 pounds. Just little balls of fire. But specifically about the scorecard, Chocolatito won, dominated. He won 118 1. The official scorecards from the officials was 118 to 110, 117 111, and 116 to 112. Randy, I'll let you go first. What was your scorecard? And how did you break
Yeah, I
it
had a
down?
wide. I even had. I think I had my scorecard was even wider. 119, 109. Um, I thought. I was really surprised in how. So I thought it was going to be a more competitive fight.
Yeah,
Not trying to take anything away from Martinez. I think at the same time, I'm just giving more praise to Chocolatito. You know what
yeah,
I mean?
yeah.
All the praise, all the people out of fans or media were basically even saying if this was a fight that Chocolatito was to lose, would he hang him up? Would you know
Mhm.
what I mean? Would this be his last fight? Is you know what I mean? I didn't think so. That was the case. I mean, he wasn't fading at all. You know what I mean? I still felt like he was putting on competitive fights.
Yeah,
I was really impressed with his performance
yeah,
rather than me trying to uh, put flaws into Martinez, if you will.
yeah.
Um, um, uh, Chocolatito was sharp. Um, he looked great. I just felt like Martinez was trying to show how much he's a warrior. Yes, we
Mhm.
all know that. You know what I mean? It takes, you know what I mean, just for you to be in the ring, we'll give you that.
Yeah,
But Chocolatito really surprised me, and I want to give more credit to him, more or less, than to people knocking Martinez for what he
yeah.
didn't do.
Exactly. I think going into the fight, I'm not sure the odds. It might have been close to even, unless a lot of people were going for Martinez, even though Martinez was stepping up a weight class and only took the fight on short notice. Um, I think just because it's two reasons. It's Martinez's active activity and his fighting style, and also the fact for Chocolatito at 34 years old has been through a lot of wars through his career. A couple of years ago, he was on the come up on the same path with Triple G when Triple G was at his height and like smashing everybody. Chocolatito was out like on the undercard. They were on the same cards together coming
Yep.
up. And a lot of Chocolatito's fights were like wars that he won, but they were still wars. And the more wars you have in your career, the less you're gonna last, less longer you're gonna last. So at 34 years old, there's a lot of boxers that still do their thing at 34, but Chocolatito, his 34 is a lot of kilometers on the body
His club,
at him.
his 54-34 is 55 fights, over 50 fights.
Fuck yeah.
Now, some of these other guys could be 34. Andre, for instance, Andre doesn't have nowhere near
Hmm.
50 fights. Mind you, mind you, Andre doesn't have, did was going through a bad uh, instance with his management team, if you will, whatever it may be, which kind of held him back. You
Hmm.
know what I mean? But not to get off topic, but
Yeah, yeah,
he's got a lot of fights for being 34 years old.
yeah. He does. Getting back to the scorecard though, what I had it was I had it wide, almost as wide as you, 117 to 110 for Chocolatito. Um, but for me, it only started to get wide at the sixth, starting at the beginning of the sixth round, because up till round five, I had it even. Going into round five, I had it even. I gave the first round to Martinez, second round to Chocolatito. The third round I marked it as a close round. That was marked it as 9-9. That was supposed to be 10-9. So I guess my thing was a little bit off. 117, 112 maybe, or 118 to
right, probably 118.
Yeah. That was it there.
Yeah.
As far as the breakdown, yeah. Well, there's no really breakdown. All close rounds. So if I gave all close rounds to Chocolatito, it would have been, which it was, 118, 110. If it was Martinez, 117, 111. I think Chocolatito early in his career, he would have just started out just banging. He would have started out the way he finished in that last 6 rounds. But I think at 34, just being a little bit more smarter, understanding that he's not the same at 20 as he was at 24. Just wanted to look like he was trying to feel him out a little bit more, and a combination of Martinez, like he was just like swinging punches. A lot of times he wasn't even in his proper boxing stance after he finished throwing. Like he was just trying to bomb.
I was constantly making that point last night too. It just felt like his feet were just too squared a lot of times. You know what I mean? Rather than the boxing stance, his stance was too squared up, and he was just an easy target. Hands were low. That's it. Like, I thought that he was taking too much punishment himself. I thought that his corner could have stopped the fight in around 10, 11, around that area. But
when your head is
to show that his warrior, you know what I mean, that he'll fit, but
you know that old saying, your pride will get you hurt, man. That's what the coaches and referees is there for, to save you from your pride, save you, so you can have a career after boxing.
Chocolatito threw over 10, close to 1,100 punches.
Yeah, and that's the other thing too, man. Chocolatito with his punch output threw over 1,000 punches.
Yeah,
it's some serious cardio. What is next for both of these guys? Starting with Martinez first. I'm not sure what his plans are. I don't know if he took this fight just because it was a big fight against Chocolatito, because he moved up in weight class, and it was only 2 weeks notice. Even though in those teen weight class, I think he fights at like 115 and 118. So
yeah,
not that much of a difference. But if he
he'll
goes
go back
down
to his weight, I think.
Huh?
I think Martinez would just maintain back down to his.
Yeah, go back
weight.
down.
Chocolatito, they're talking about the Estrada 3.
He has some interesting things. I'm just looking at what was next for him. He lost to his rival Estrada. They fought twice, correct? And that Estrada was actually supposed to be their original opponent for last night, but he caught COVID. That's the reason why Martinez got the fight on 2 weeks' notice. There's also talks Gonzalez wants another shot at I'm gonna mess up this guy's name, but I'll try. I'll just say his last name, Rungvisai, who was another guy who had a different type of style, not a traditional boxing style, but it worked for him, and he beat Chocolatito twice. He beat him twice, right? Yeah. So but then again, Rungvisai, you break it down, because you broke it down last night. Rungvisai lost to a guy
styles, all styles make fights, and I think it was Quadras. Quadras who beat Rungvisai, you know what I mean? And then you can't look at who beat who, whatever it may be. Styles make fight, but at the same time, the guy who beat Chocolatito twice, the first fight, I think it was a knockout.
Yes. Rungvisai?
Yeah. But then Quadras beat Rungvisai.
So it's like, the styles make fights. So now,
what's his name? Then Chocolatito
should face Quadras again.
That doesn't add up. But either way, it happened. You know what I mean?
Yeah. But it's like you say, styles make fights, man. That's why it doesn't always. You can't always say, well, this guy beat this guy, so that means that this is gonna happen over here. That's not always the case, man. As you can see, right. So yeah, we'll see. He's 34 years old. A lot of wars. We'll see. We'll see in the next couple of weeks. He's not going to wait too long. He says himself he probably has a couple of fights left, but we'll see. We'll see, man. Some fights at that age, the reflexes and reaction time is what slows down. You're always going to maintain your man strength, but the reflexes and reaction time is what kind of slows down, and you don't want to realize that you don't have that anymore in the middle of a fight. So
Word.
that was the worst thing. So they need to see what's going to go on with that. All right. Moving on. Friday night, and this was a surprise. I almost missed this fight. Ramirez and Pedraza. I thought it was going to be Saturday night. I just so happened to just catch it by accident on Friday night.
Yeah, I'm in the same kind of boat.
If they for people that listen to the Friday night show, I predicted the scorecard to be 116 to 112 for Ramirez. That's what the official scorecard. All three judges scored at 116, 112 for Ramirez. And what I was saying before is as far as skills, these guys, I thought they were both equal in skills, but what makes the difference is the weight. Pedraza is coming up from a lighter weight class. Ramirez is used to being at that 140-pound weight class. When it's two guys, and it's not just simply because you're a bigger person, you're going to win. It's when the skills are equal, because you can still be a smaller fighter if your skills are, are exceptional. You can beat the bigger guys. That's why you see some guys move up in weight classes. But when the skills are equal, that's when the bigger person kind of takes over. So that's why I picked Ramirez. And did you get a chance to score that one too? What was your scorecard for that?
I did. I ended up scoring that. I had that real close.
Yeah, me too, actually.
I had it 115, 113 for Ramirez.
Same here.
The first couple of rounds were just the first couple of rounds. I think out of the first 6 rounds, the first half of the fight, it might have had like 4 close rounds. So
yeah,
it was going either way. I had it even 57-57. Still close. You could argue 58-56 one way or the other, but it was a real close fight. Ramirez, I had Ramirez too. I'm glad that they didn't. We didn't have a problem with the judges as we've had in the last recent weeks with certain outcomes. But this was, the judges got it right. So yeah, great, good fight. Pedraza, I think I agree with what you said.
Yeah,
Pedraza
I had it.
Didn't have that. I don't think Pedraza had that pop or had to hurt him to make really,
especially in the later rounds.
Ramirez was constantly coming forward.
I had it 115 and 113 for Ramirez. With what I originally scored it. I scored 5. I marked 5 rounds of close rounds that could have went either way. I had round 3, 6, round 3, 8, 9, and 10. Yeah, man, it was close throughout the way. I gave the first round to Ramirez, and then I gave Pedraza the next 3 rounds after that. Even though one of them was close.
I don't mean to cut you off. I hear a lot of static when you're speaking.
I'm not sure if that's me. It's okay. Are you good now?
I can hear a lot of static when you're speaking. Something's wrong, technical wise, somehow.
Well, maybe if anybody's listening, anybody in the chat, if you can't hear us
properly,
don't hear
it when you replay this later. Is all I'm saying.
So you hear it? Shoot, I'm not sure what to do.
Well, you just keep going. I guess maybe I hope it doesn't play like that later on.
Yeah. So Pedraza, I had it 115, 113. It was a little bit closer than I thought, and I guess kind of I think kind of how I predicted. Actually, talk about what you thought about it for a second. I'm just gonna refresh my page. Just give your quick opinion on the fight, like what you were saying before, Andy.
I pretty much thought the same thing. I was favoring. I had Ramirez a little bit favored myself. I liked. I like the wide one divisions wide open. Pedraza is a very slick boxer. I do like his style though. He is a slick boxer. I do like his style. He might not have had the pop to put him out. Just it's more impressive though watching you seen what Ramirez did and how and how slick Pedraza is, makes you realize and maybe give you a little bit more credit on Gervonta
Yeah,
Tank
because even
knocking out Pedraza.
yes, because even the rounds like the later rounds that I gave to Ramirez, even I didn't mark some of them all of them as close rounds, but like Ramirez didn't dominate any rounds. He did win some rounds clearly, but he never like dominated. I didn't see there was no point in time where I thought Pedraza was like in serious trouble where he might have had to quit or someone had to consider throwing in the towel. But Ramirez was just doing a little bit more. Pedraza, especially as the challenger going into the other person's hometown. I remind the boxers of this all the time. If you're going into the other person's hometown, the crowd and everything, you have to do a little bit more. You can't just make it close and then get mad if you lose by split decision.
To shut the crowd up, because any little thing that gets excited, the crowd's going to be. So you have to do whatever you can to make them mute the best.
Yeah, exactly. That's how sometimes if you're doing well in the other person's hometown. If you're it's in the middle of a fight and the crowd's like quiet, you're doing something good.
When the crowd, that means the challenger doing really well. Like
exactly.
You're going to a home game or this and that or any kind of, what I mean. When the whole crowd is quiet while the game's going on, something's not going their way.
Yeah, exactly. And even if the person like the person whose hometown it is, if they just throw a punch that comes close to you, the crowd's gonna go, oh, and little things like that might influence might influence the judges. So that's why you got to make sure that you're making it obviously clear that you're winning the fight. So there you have it. Still getting that static. It's all good. What do we have? So what are these guys looking forward to now? Where do you see Ramirez going from here at 140?
Well, I feel like the 140 division is so wide open. Who knows? You're not going to say Taylor. Taylor's already admitted he's going to 147, which now is make a wide storm with all the vacant belts. It's going to be crazy. There's going to be a lot
140 is just 140 is so there's no way we can really predict what's going to happen, whether it's Teofimo moving up to 140 or staying up. Well, no, he's going to be moving up. I don't think he's going to be staying at 135 anymore.
So depending on what organizations and the rankings of each organization, there's going to be top two in each ranking, whatever it may be, and each probably 4 separate bouts with the winner receiving a vacant belt.
With the winner receiving a vacant belt.
Pretty soon, all them belts are going to be vacated. From Taylor.
At 140? All the 4 major ones you're saying?
Yeah, they're all going to be vacated. You just keep so somebody's got to fight for them.
But wait a second. Oh yeah, he did win.
You can't just.
I was thinking about that. Huh?
You can't just hand the belts out to somebody, whoever you like. Okay, here you go, Catterall. Since you know. Oh, Holbrook, you gave me a good fight last time. You know what I mean? Ramirez. No, these guys got to fight.
Yeah. They got to earn it. Whether it's people forgot about Regis Progress. He's a very good fighter. I think he had a very challenging fight with Taylor. Taylor won, but Progress was right in there the whole time. Yes, exactly. And it was. I thought split decision win for Taylor. I thought he did just a little bit more.
I think it was a split decision. I could be wrong. You know what I mean? But it was very close.
Yeah. Exactly.
You got Matias. That's at 140. Russell. You got the 140 division in about a year and a half, 2 years is going to be crazy. It's going to be the most talked about division in about 1 or 2 years when all them belts are spread out again.
Probably, I was thinking probably later on, a couple of months from now, maybe not even next year, probably later on
Yeah,
this
well,
year.
let me talk about but until the belts are actually in people's hands rather than being vacated.
Yeah, you're right. Yes, yeah. I see what you're saying. Yeah.
With the belt being vacated, there's still not really no true championship. You know what I mean? Once in about about a year, and then all the belts are boom regulated here, there, and you got a name with the belt.
Mm.
Then comes like, oh, well, his mandatory is this and this, and you know what I mean. And that's when it
the mandatories are gonna be crazy.
That's when it gets spicy.
Yeah, man. Seriously, from all them little weight classes gonna be exciting the next little while. All right, that's all we have for our scorecard today. What do we got next week? Who we got next week?
Slow week next week. We got Lee Wood in Mike Collin. I think it's Conlon. I think they're around the UK area. I could only be mistaken.
Yeah, those are UK fights. So it might be in the afternoon for us.
Fighting for a major belt. I'm not sure if the WBA, WBO, or much one of those, but they're fighting for a belt for sure. So that's going to be a good fight.
Yeah, and that's going to be because it's in the UK. It's going to be in the afternoon for us, right? Like 5, 6.
That'd be the zone. So definitely be about probably a 5.
Yeah.
All
right.
5:30 area.
Good. Cool. All right, man. There you have it. Thank you, everyone, for watching and joining us on the scorecard, where we bring our scorecard and an explanation, not just an opinion. So make sure you hit us up, like, share, subscribe. Talkin Fight channel on YouTube, Twitter, anywhere you can find us. At Randy Els on Twitter or any social media you want to find him. At Cedric Sports. Yeah. Peace. See you guys next week. Actually, we'll see you guys at 4 o'clock for the knockout of the week. My boy Mike or Matt Randy's going to be joining us too. All right. See you guys in a couple hours. Peace.